THOW Chicago on again another marvelous Monday night. Yeah, but jumping off right into this, we don't need to talk about the weather right now and how cold it is. Everybody knows it's cold. But what I don't get is that I see all of these YouTubers, all of these content creators, yeah, let me fix this here. All of these content creators. And I didn't hear one that I listen to or watch or view. Not one of them said anything about Martin Luther King Jr. today. And today is the day that they are celebrating his birthday. Today, meaning his birthday, was made a national holiday back in 1993. And none of these YouTubers are saying anything about him. General Seti, Hassan Campbell, Willie D, Nino Brown, Mad Hoffa. Nobody. Bubba Rosson. Nobody. And if Bubba Rosson did say something today, I didn't see it. I didn't get any notifications about that. Martin Luther King Jr., what does he mean to you? What does he mean to you? People have a white Jesus on their wall. Meaning black people or people who look like me, darker people of the earth, have a white Jesus on their wall, but they don't have an image of Martin Luther King Jr. in their home by himself, without the Kennedy brothers. Do you have a Martin Luther King Jr. picture or image in your house, or your home, or your apartment? What do you have? What pictures do you have around besides your family? Do you have anybody in your home or your apartment with an image of anyone who sacrificed their life for you? Now you have people, the younger generation. Hell, they even celebrate Tupac's birthday. Yeah, they celebrate Tupac's birthday. But they won't celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And if they don't know about him, it is our responsibility to teach them about him. And sadly, I haven't seen a video on YouTube in regards to the people that I just mentioned to you put anything up there about that man. Now, some people say that Martin Luther King Jr. sold us out. Martin Luther King Jr. gave us integration. Hell, you even had some people to say that Martin Luther King Jr. played himself. They say that Martin Luther King Jr. should have stayed out of those restaurants that he was in, where he wasn't wanted. They say that Martin Luther King Jr. should have stayed out of those neighborhoods that he wasn't wanted in. But if you look at the picture, and if you know any history about the man, you would find that a lot of what he did wasn't for personal gain whatsoever. He sacrificed his life for you. And today, I would say, just from my standpoint, seeing the situation of this country today, especially people who look like me. That man is rolling over in his grave. Yeah, you know the saying, roll over in your grave. Yeah, that's what I think the man is doing. You know why? Because we haven't evolved into our higher beings. In fact about it, we have degenerated, some of us, into savages. How many of you all even talked about that man today? Like had personal conversations, watched a YouTube video about the man. Hell, even the people on the news said something about the man. But I heard nothing from content creators. Who's out there? Manuela Vasquez. How you doing, Manuela Vasquez? How you doing? I appreciate you for being here today. I appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule, because you could have been doing something else, but you stopped by here, THEMOSHOW Chicago, on this live to see what we had to say. By the way, Manuela, where are you from? Me, Big Windy City, okay? City of gangsters. City that is a, what they call it? LA, Chicago, and New York, sanctuary cities. That's where I'm from. One of the sanctuary cities. Where there are, you know, a lot of things going on for a lot of people who shouldn't be here. But needless to say, getting back to the conversation, Martin Luther King Jr. Had it not been for him, many people would not have civil rights. Think about that. And nobody said nothing about this man. In fact about it, does people know, or do you know what civil rights are? Do you know what year they were enacted by Lyndon Baines Johnson with the help of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? How many of you all vote out there? How many of you all vote? How many of you all vote for Donald Trump? How many of you all voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? It don't matter which one you voted for. How many of you all vote out there? Just think. Where would your vote count? Especially in the southern states of the United States, where they still practice segregation, they still practice illegal voting tricks. Yes, voting tricks. How many of you all understand what I'm saying? I know you do, because I'm making it plain. Even a third grader can understand what I'm saying. How many of y'all gave credit to that man today at all? How many people do you know, strangers, that will give their life up for you? How many strangers do you know would do that? Most black people here in America, and even some white people, because Dr. King had white people rolling with him too. White men and women who were not racist. White men and white women who did not care about the color of your skin. And we say nothing about this man today, but we're walking on the shoulders of him. Huh? We walk on the shoulders of this man. Not just him, but he is one of them. How many of you are content creators that says that you're the new Malcolm X of YouTube. You're the, the God of YouTube, or whatever you want to call yourself, right? There are a lot of things that you will not be able to do had it not been for the sacrifice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I remember when the man came to Chicago. Well, I don't remember, but I read about it because I wasn't alive at that time when he came to Chicago in Cicero. Cicero, Illinois, where he was hit with bottles, bricks, arrested, beat up. Even on the south side of Chicago, on 71st Street, 71st Street, yeah, 71st and like Western, when he marched up and down the south side of Chicago, and the same thing happened to him on the south side of Chicago as it did on the west side of Chicago, which is a southwest, Cicero, Illinois. How many of those people who marched with him, who rode with him, that died for you, do you give them any credit for it today? How many of y'all had children or have children? That's the word I wanted to say. How many of y'all have children? How many of y'all taught your children about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and what he did? Do you do that? Or do you leave it up to the school system? Whereas you only leave him with an image of he had a dream. This man was a giant. In fact about it, he was like a Moses for black people. Even though you had a few Moses in the 60s. You had a gang of them. You had Elijah Muhammad. You had Malcolm X. You had Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah. That rose to fame not because of self-interest, but for black people in particular and humanity. Dr. King did not care what color you were. He didn't care what color you was, as long as you were for a just cause and that you had a clear vision of treating people right. It's sad. Everybody running around here, I'll get to that in a minute. But they're running around here talking about Nelly. They're running around here talking about Rick Ross and the Village People and what they did for the inauguration of Donald Trump. The songs that we sang, or those civil rights leaders and followers, they didn't sing songs like Nelly or Rick Ross. It was about survival. Survival of the fittest. Some people say that Dr. King was a sucker because he believed in non-violence. But yet and still, he suffered violence for you, for me. And so did all of those other intelligent white people who did not care about color. You understand? He wasn't worried about riding around in a BMW. He wasn't worried about wearing a fur coat. He wasn't worried about wearing gazelles. He wasn't worried about wearing Jordans or the latest gym shoes. He cared about where you would be at and what would happen in the aftermath of his death, because the man knew that his time was coming. How many of you all would do that? How many of you all would have help those garbage workers down in Memphis to get unionized, to get a fair play, to get a fair pay. How many of you all ever been to the Civil Rights Museum down in Memphis, Tennessee, formerly the Lorraine Motel? How many of you all have been there? I have. I have. You know why? Because that man stood for something. This man spoke against Vietnam. He opposed it and told the government that they were wrong. The government, I'm sure, knew that they were wrong, but they had other interests. Hell, you had those soldiers come back from Vietnam treated bad, spit upon, urine thrown at them, feces thrown at them. Would you have suffered like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did for people that you didn't know? How many of you all say that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. sold us out? Because I hear big YouTubers out there in the past, not today, but when they talk about this man, they say that this man sold us out. He helped integrate us, meaning he helped kill our own self-efficiency to be interacted and businesses with white folks. Some people say that we gave up our businesses for him. We had our own bus lines, meaning public transportation. We had our own cabs. We had our own grocery stores. We had our own tailor shops. And many people say that when he urged us to integrate more or try to mainstream black people into this white society, that he killed everything that we built up until that time. What do you think? I would like to hear from you. I just find it very sad. Do you know that it was federal government policy of this country to kill all of your black leaders? Did you know that? I'm going to say that again. Did you know that it was federal policy to assassinate all of your black leaders and anyone who stood up for you? Just think, if they didn't have these men killed, or if it wasn't the policy of the government to kill them, under the spearhead of J. Edgar Hoover, another racist. And he was a homosexual. I'm just saying. People talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. sometimes in a negative way. But you have to respect the fact that he died for you. Could you imagine where we would be at had they not killed that man? Could you imagine where we would be if they had not killed or assassinated our black leaders that would have helped us? Right now, we don't even have Louis Farrakhan anymore. He's retired. And just from my understanding, from my own personal understanding, and maybe a few more people who are like-minded, you know, even he said that he was your last chance. And people didn't take heed to that. But Louis Farrakhan was for black and white people. just told the truth. And now he's retired, so you don't have him anymore because he's done with you. Could you imagine what the children of Dr. King feel like seeing the state of black people in America today? Could you see them asking themselves, our dad died for these clowns? Our dad died for these fools to run around and kill themselves, to call themselves ninjas, itches, and 304s? I'm just saying. What do you think your children would have felt like if you have sacrificed your life for humanity versus seeing them grow up to be an adult? No son or no daughter wants to bury their father. Right now, today, just from my spectrum of seeing the condition that black people are in this country, if he was alive even today, it would probably make him sick to death. Or we might not be in this situation. You take your choice on that. There's no right, there's no wrong. Right? The man had transcended, gave up his whole life for you. And you don't even have the decency to celebrate that man today. That's sad. That's sad. What is more of a better friend, or who is better than a friend, who would give his life for you? Let me ask you a question. Would you have given your life for Dr. King? Would you have done that? Many people did, especially in Selma. How many of y'all watched that movie today? How many of you all talked about the Pettis Bridge today at all? Do you all even know where the Pettis Bridge is at? And if you don't know where the Pettis Bridge is at, it is in Alabama, where he was met by racist law enforcement. Hell, law enforcement were going into restaurants, shooting and killing black men, black women at the drop of a hat. And nothing happened to them. Just think what would happen if you murder a white man and you're black, just walking into the bar, even if you were law enforcement. Huh? How many people do you see that's black running around shooting white people? Because they believe in the cause, standing up for their people. You all think that just happened back then? No, it's still happening today. And the Klansmen still roll around today. Some people call them the police. Would that be true or false? You be the judge of that. But the thing is, once again, would you have given your life for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? And I can tell you right now, most of you all would not have done that. And why do I say that? Because many of you all won't even give your life for the youth. I'm just saying. You had people that was back on drugs then in the 60s. You had black people back then that was more unified. They were more unified back then. We had causes back then, and now the cause today seems to me is just about getting paid and the dumbing down of the youth. Now, stop me if I'm wrong, or stop me, or get in the chat room if you feel a different way. It's sad. Could you imagine? Can you imagine a nation for no one hating for the color of your skin? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? Or would you suffer walking down a block, getting hit with bricks? Huh? Would you do that? The answer is no, because you're not doing it today. You're not doing it today. Let me ask you another question. Would you be a person who would be able to do what Martin Luther King Jr. did? I can answer that real fast. The answer is no. Answer is no. That's not even up for debate. Because if you were one of those individuals, we would see you on the news. We would see your family crying. It would be another national day of mourning. J. Edgar Hoover says that he wanted to kill all of the Christ of the black people. And there would not be another Messiah for the black people if they don't make him. Meaning that if we can't create this dude to do what we want him to do and say to these people, we got to get rid of him. He's no use to us because he's messing up our program. He's causing us problems, causing us discrepancies. This man stood in Washington, D.C. at the monument. How many millions of people were there? How many people saw that on television back in the 60s? That man knew he was going to die. Especially when he said, "My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." Has anybody seen that video? Did you see the eyeballs of that man? Because they was just moving around. He was looking at everybody because he didn't know where death was going to strike or when, but he knew that his time was near. And we didn't even protect him. We didn't protect him. Reverend Abernathy, Jesse Jackson, and the other reverend that was with him. Hell, some people even say that Reverend Jesse Jackson helped set up his death, meaning that he wore different clothing. He didn't have on a shirt and tie, but the other reverends did, so why they didn't get shot? Do you think that Reverend Jesse Jackson helped set up the death of Martin Luther King? Do you think that Jesse Jackson knew that Martin Luther King was going to die at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee? Do you think that Jesse Jackson sold him out? I'm just seeing that Jesse is still here. And there was a few of them that were still here and are still here after his death. But they didn't have that drive. They didn't have that spirit or that movement of direction or leadership like King did. Hell, I don't agree with everything that the man did, but I still have to give him his props. I have to give him his respect. And you should too, if you are an intelligent being. It's sad. You would celebrate Tupac, but you won't celebrate this man. Tupac didn't die for you. Tupac died for who? The Bloods. I'm just saying. He spoke political things like his mama did because he was raised a Panther. Hell, even the Panthers back then in the 60s. We'll get on that in another video. We're talking about King right now. Even Mayor Edgar Evans, you all remember? Not Mayor Edgar. I keep saying Mayor. Think about, you know what I'm talking about. Edgar Evans, yeah. Does anybody remember him? That role with King? Huh? They shot him down right in front of his home. Bang, bang. And like I said, it was authorized policy by the U.S. government to do that. But you all still vote. See what I'm saying? You vote for the very same system that killed all of your leaders. You vote for the very same system and the very same people who help keeps you in the condition that you're in. We are conditioned to be in this situation. I'm just saying. We are living in what people call the end time. Do you think this is the end time? Do you ever think that there will be another black Messiah that will rise among the people, for the people? And I'm just not talking about black people. I'm talking about for humanity, because this man stood for not only black people, but humanity. He didn't oppose the Vietnam War just for black people. He opposed the Vietnam War for everybody. He wanted white kids and black kids to sit at the table together. Even though many members of different organizations at that time didn't like that. Sometimes him and Malcolm got into it, but there was a plan for him and Malcolm to get together. And they knocked off Malcolm before he could even jump off. How many of you all knew that? I'm just saying. There are so many other leaders that I want to talk about, but they're not in the title, but we're going to talk about them anyway, okay? Let me get some water here. I'm coming down with something. I'm just hoping it's not the norovirus, because I do wash my hands and all of that stuff. However, just think, you had the Black Panthers, you had Martin Luther King Jr., you had Elijah Muhammad, you had Malcolm X, you had the Black Guerrilla family. You understand? And they all were eliminated. The Panther Party was eliminated, set up by somebody that looked like them. Dr. King, they say, was set up by somebody that looked like them, but he knew that he was going to die. He couldn't trust nobody. Imagine history on a factual basis. But the cause of today and the order of the day is the dumbing down of not only black, but white people as well. Racism is an institution. Racism is conditioning of the mind. Just like degeneracy and savageness is a state of mind. Imagine if there was no devils around. No devils. And I'm not just talking about what some people call the white man. No, because you have black devils. That man that set up the Black Panthers and Fred Hampton was a what? He was a devil. He was a black devil, okay? Do you think that Jesse Jackson was a devil? Leaders of the 60s don't think so. Ask Al Sharpton was Jesse Jackson the devil. Ask Reverend Abernathy was Jesse Jackson the devil. Ask Louis Farrakhan was Jesse Jackson the devil. Would you have went into restaurants like Dr. King did and got spit in the face, got hot coffee thrown on you? Would you have done that? Would you have been a part of the Southern Christian Leaders Conference, SCLC? Would you have been a part of SNCC? Would you have been a part of the Black Panthers? Would you have been a part of the Nation of Islam? Would you have been a part of any group or organization that was for the upliftment of black people? Would you have given your life for that? Not just in words, but in actions. Do you think they used Dr. King and then got rid of him? Or do you think that Dr. King woke up? Really woke up? Do you think his spirit was ignited and went to another level? I'm just saying. Do you think that you can feel the shoes of Dr. King? Do you think that you will have people and the support behind you, black and white, like Dr. King did? Especially all of you big YouTubers. I ain't seen y'all put nothing up about this man, so I'm sort of salty about that. But you know what? Here I am, the little YouTuber. They call me the little YouTuber. Some big YouTubers say they don't even watch little YouTubers because we're not in their range. We're not in their status. Regardless if what we say is true or not, or can be of a sustenance for them. Do you think that Dr. King was motivated for self-purposes? I'm just saying. Now think about that. Racism in America. You have Donald Trump inauguration. Do you think that Donald Trump liked Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Do you think he liked Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I say not. And I have reasons for that. Like today, he got inaugurated, but one of his first executive actions was to eliminate DEI. Do you all know what DEI means? Huh? It took the place of affirmative action. Yeah, DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. That's what DEI means. It was somewhat like affirmative action. And yes, it is a Christian concept. But it was part of the civil rights movement. Did you know that? I'm just saying. And Donald Trump is eliminating that on his first day of office. And this was a part of the civil rights movement. You understand? You killed the civil rights king, and then you kill a program that helped the people who were to be recipients of DEI that was instituted by black people. But this includes everybody, see? Just like affirmative action, it included everybody. Women, men. But mostly because, you know, it was used for, you know, as some would say, oh, if you go apply for a job, we got to have so many black people or so many minorities hired on this job. Trump is taking all that away. On the man's celebrated day. Is that having any respect for you? Is that having any respect for civil rights leaders? People who have fought, gave their blood, sweat, and tears, their heart, and their soul, and their lives for you. I'm just saying. And he tosses it in garbage can. He tosses it in the garbage can. Is that having respect for you? Is that having respect for anybody who was part of that movement? Is that having respect for anybody who was supposed to be in the inclusion? But it seems to me that it is an illusion versus an inclusion. Do you see any diversity going on? Do you see any equity going on? Equality for everybody? No. And he's making sure that you forget about it because he got rid of it. Think about that. What we got here? Would that be a true statement? Would that be a true statement or a false statement? I think that would be a true statement, don't you think? Don't you think that would be a true statement? I do. I would say that's a true statement. Based on the information that I just gave you. Based upon what you see every day in the world in regards to how minorities in this country are treated by the majority. Do you think there's equality? No. They would have to restructure the whole government. They would have to restructure the whole system. They would have to literally give up their white power and say that we're all equal. You know, in Donald Trump's inauguration, he said that we're all one people. That we're all one people. And that he wants equality for everybody. Do you really think he wants that? It's just sad. And this is what's going on with me right now. I'm just saying. Yeah, and the Fed's always trying to silence you. Donald Trump says he's going to get rid of the censorship on social media. Do you think he's really going to do that? Especially for minorities. Seeing that he just took DEI out of the situation. I'm just saying. It's crazy here. Donald Trump not only has racism that is about to blow up in America, because when he was the 45th president, you saw what happened. These white KKK members went bananas. And they're still going to go bananas. And like I said, many people call them the police now. They just traded their hoods in for a badge and a gun. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, Manuela Vasquez? I'm just saying. Yeah. Do you think that there was a message for black people in Donald Trump's inauguration where he had Nelly to sing or perform? What about Rick Ross? Why he couldn't choose KRS or Rakim? Why he couldn't have chose Common I'm just... Why you couldn't have did that? Why the village people? Why the village people? I'm just saying. Do you think that? And Snoop Dogg. We can't forget that Snoop Dogg guy, right? We can't forget Snoop Dogg because Snoop Dogg is catching flack too behind his performance for Donald Trump. Do you think that was a ploy to help black people feel at ease? Do you think it was a ploy to like, okay, black people, be calm, everything is going to be all right? Seeing that most black people listen to these rappers who sell them out. These mainstream rappers. All rappers don't sell you out, but these mainstream rappers, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Nelly, sold you out. Sold us out. Do you think that? If not, leave your comment in the comment section. I would love to see you in the chat section with Manuela Vasquez. Hell, Donald Trump wouldn't even let black people live in his building, and neither would his father. But his father got sued for that, for being a racist. And you think his son is not a racist? As they say, the apple don't too far from the tree, especially if you're conditioned that way. And that's how he was brought up, that way. Think about it. How old is Donald Trump? What has he seen in all of his years of living? And what was his reaction to these black leaders getting killed? Do you think that Donald Trump would have agreed with Edgar J. Hoover? I'm just saying. Trump promises a lot of things, but nothing for you. People that look like me, nothing for us. You know? Now, maybe if you were one of his supporters that went to jail on January 6, 2021 when they stormed the Capitol, maybe you'll get a little play from Donald Trump. Because from my understanding, he has pardoned like 1,500 people or more. But when they were arrested and some are still in jail. And he pardoned them. Do you think he was behind that? Do you think he owed those people who supported him that pardon? Yeah, because if I would have did what they allegedly say that he done, and I get to be president, I would myself pardon those people who supported me. Like I said, many people say he allegedly organized that riot in Washington, D.C. What do you think? Donald Trump is conditioning you to hate the Mexican cartels. Drug cartels, that is. He is labeling them, what? Foreign terroristic organizations. Because of, what, drugs? Well, if that's the case, he's going to have to get rid of the DEA. You think? Hey, just think about it. How does the drugs get in here? Some from DEA and some from smugglers. But you can't leave DEA out, and they're a part of the government, which he is supposedly oversees, seeing that he's the commander-in-chief. Let's see if the drugs stop coming in the United States. Seeing that he is putting us in the conditioning mind frame to label Mexican drug cartels as foreign terroristic organizations. I'm just saying. Even for people who were born in this country and their parents are immigrants, but the child is born here, he say he's revoking their citizenship. Damn. Another executive action. Day one. Do you think he's right for that? Do you think he's wrong for that? I myself, I would say that is a green light, okay? I would agree with him on that. I would. And there's a whole lot I don't agree with him on. But that I agree with him on. And I agree with him on deporting these criminals that are immigrants from this country. Sending them back to where they came from or sending them somewhere but out of here. Especially in Chicago where we have like an influx of 450,000 immigrants. And crime has risen 32% since the immigrants have been here. Are you going to get something free like the immigrants did? No. Nothing. Nothing. I'm just saying. Do you think that Donald Trump is right for having federal employees return to office in person? That means they got to be back in there tomorrow. There's no more remote jobs for federal employees. Do you think that is good or do you think that is bad? I say that's good too. I say that's good too, okay? You know, they should be working. They get paid. And you know when people be working from home remotely, you know, sometimes they don't work. Do you think that is a true statement? It's more lax than everything at home. But if you're making federal money, you got to take your ass into the office or you lose your job, not to mention the fact that he is reducing or have a job freeze on new federal employees. And like I said, he's reducing them too. So that's a double-edged sword. Reducing and put them on a freeze. And who did he leave in charge of that? One of those persons would be Elon Musk. I'm just saying. What does Elon Musk know about the U.S. government? That he has the experience to say, hey, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Hell, I thought the man was just in technology, making cars and brain chips, okay? I know he does a lot of other things. He's a philanthropist, and he has a lot of other things going on. But I don't think that Elon Musk should be in a position to reduce federal government jobs. But who am I? Who am I? I'm just a little bitty YouTuber. Meaning, according to big YouTubers, a nobody. But I'm bringing you actual facts. I'm bringing you actual facts. I'm not pulling it out my hat. I'm not pulling it from my backside. I'm giving you straight facts. What do you think? Do you think that this would be a better country under Donald Trump administration? Or do you think that it is about to get worse under Donald Trump administration? Even Eric Dyson, the motivational speaker, even said that troubled times is right around the corner. Starting today. I'm just saying. So for all of you people that voted for Donald Trump, we're going to see what he do for you. Or will you regret that you elected him into office, but really, we were left with no choice? Because everybody was tired of Kamala and Joe Biden. Anyway. Water. Need more of it. That's amazing. That is amazing. And I'm sure that this second term for Donald Trump is going to be amazing for people who are of like-minded like him. It's going to be amazing. So that means if it's going to be amazing for them, it's going to be a bad dream for you, okay? Just think about it. It's going to be a bad dream for you if it's a good thing for them. Do you really think that his administration care about the people of this country? All people. All people. Just not the racist people. Just not conservative people. Not just right-wing people. Not just the, you know? Think about that. Do you think it's going to get worse? Or do you think it's going to get better? What do you think, Manuela Vasquez? What do you think? Let me know. You haven't said anything in the chat room, but I appreciate you being here, okay? So in conclusion, for those of you who just came in, do you think that people have forgotten about the sacrifice that Dr. Martin Luther King made for them? Do you think that they even care at all? Do you think that Dr. King sold us out? Do you think that Dr. King integrated us into a burning house? And why do you think that he was killed if he sold us out? If he sold us out, don't you think that they could have kept using him to continue to sell us out? Or do you think they killed him for being a righteous person who fought for humanity, and not just black people, but he did fight for black people, but he included humanity. However, some of his dream did come true. When he said that one day white people would be eating at the table with black people, holding hands. That did occur. That did occur. In fact about it, it wasn't until after the civil rights that black people and white people were allowed to be married legally in this country. I think Dr. King helped move that right along, don't you think? I think that Dr. King brought a lot of peace. He was a revolutionary, meaning that he was a Jesus, meaning that he was a threat to the government, but you all say that he sold us out. How can you be a threat to the government and you sell your people out? Is that making any sense to you? It's not making any sense to me. Do you think that? Leave your comments in the chat room, comment section. Do you think that his children want him to die for you? Do you think that Dr. King felt like Jesus did? But Dr. King didn't say, Lord, take this cup away from me. He didn't say that. He said that he accepts his fate. He accepts his fate. How many of you all can say that you would have accepted the same fate? Or would you have took the money and sat down and continued to live like many say that Jesse Jackson did? Because right now he's on the Trilateral Commissioner Awards. I don't know if he retired or not. I'm just saying. Do you think Jesse Jackson sold him out? I'm just saying. Yeah, we're coming to the end of this live. But like I said, if you haven't been to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, aka the Lorraine Motel, man, spend a couple of dollars and go down there, man. You drive everywhere else. You've been blocks all day long. It's only a couple of hours away. I'm just saying. Make it a road trip. You know what I'm saying? Go see where they shot him from. Across the street. From the window. In the bathroom. All of this. Well, was it a bathroom? It was a small room. I remember that. And that is part of the Civil Rights Museum as well, which is right across the street. And another part of the Civil Rights Museum, you got the room that he was coming out of when they assassinated him. Yeah. They even closed, the owner of the hotel had to close the hotel. You know, he felt so guilty. He felt guilty. Would you have placed your life in jeopardy for some garbage men? Garbage men. You may feel that they're not important, but where would you be without garbage men? You know how much garbage and trash would be on the street? Rats. Infestations, disease, germs, bus boycotts. I'm just saying. Think about all that this man did. Do you have the nuts to do what he did? The answer is into the O. No. I'm just saying. And all of those things that I mentioned about Donald Trump. Yeah. Leave your comments in the comment section. And I hope all of you big YouTubers see this. I hope that YouTube put this in their feed. Yeah, I'm calling them out. Willie D, Son Campbell, General Set, Mad Hoff, anybody that's got over 50,000 subscribers. Anybody that has over 50,000 subscribers that say that they're this and they're that on YouTube and they ain't mentioned that man at all today. It's your host with the most. MO on THEMOSHOW Chicago, where the execution of knowledge is power. And on your way out the door, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell and that word all to help ensure that you will get notifications when I upload videos on YOUTUBE. And if you haven't been over to my other channel, MOPOWERZ, by all means go over there and check out those audiobook series. And right now we have a visual audiobook series entitled From Niggas to Gods with Louis Farrakhan. But for the audiobooks, you have Black Man of the Nile and His Family, The Destruction of Black Civilization, The Message to the Black Man of America, The Fall of America, The Chronological Order from Alchemy to Wicca. Yeah, that's something different. The Demonology of King James. The Demonology, that's right. Not the Bible that he rewrote in 1611, or that was published in 1611 by his authorization. No, but the Demonology of King James. From Babylon to Timbuktu. That is an actual dope audio series. In fact, all of them are dope. As a man thinking, you all need to go over there and view that material. All of the hard work has been done for you. The only thing you need to do is sacrifice a little time versus your life like Martin Luther King Jr. did. I'm not asking you to sacrifice your life. I'm just asking you to sacrifice some time of yours so that you can uplift yourself and possibly your children, possibly your neighbor. Share all of this information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. And if you're into gangster rap, hip-hop, R&B, spoken word, comedy, Chicago independent movies, Chicago street clips, go over to my other channel, THEMOSHOW Classics, all one word, no space. I have 4 channels. 4. The 4th one, I'm not going to give you that. It's a faceless channel. Okay? But I only have 4 channels on YouTube. That's it. That's all. But 3 of those channels, I highly recommend that you go over there and press the subscribe, like, and the share. And as I stated before, share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your CONVERSATION tonight, tomorrow, anytime this week. Okay? Peace out, you all. And by all means, I want to thank you. And never, ever, ever give up on your DREAMS. We'll see you tomorrow.